proving our reliability. Then our involvement in FM should be easily accessible, and whatever we are providing should be user-friendly. Then we also talked about the aesthetic appeal, the nice features, remembering that we are dealing with people. FM is not only dealing with buildings, but with the occupants of the building. And our involvement in the organizations is to make them efficient and effective in the core business that we have been hired to join them to achieve. Thank you.
Wow, that was loaded. Thank you, Madam Esther, for sharing that. And it's just like giving me a revision of what I learned during the course. Yes, the course is actually loaded, and I'd like it to implement whatever you've learned. Yeah, because knowledge implemented is what it makes a lot of sense and gives you that professional edge. Let me take a mail, then we'll move to the class proper. Email this time. Thank you, Madam Esther, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Let's have a mail. Share with us what you've learned so far in the course in 1 minute. Mail, don't fall my hand now. Very quickly. Very quickly. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, please share with us what you've learned so far in the course in 1 minute. All right, I can see your face.
Okay, you are referring to me, right?
Yes, very well, sir. Your audio, I can't hear you again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very well now.
Okay, I said I must be very honest. I joined the class a little bit late, okay? But some other ones I was able to listen to when the network was okay. I found out that some of those things that I've done many years back, especially when I was in the building industry, property industry in Abuja. And like you said, when the Madam Esther was teaching us on certain things just now, you said it makes you remember. So when I was listening to some of those topics, like defects of building and the rest, I was remembering those construction we were making there in Abuja. How the financier will build it and now hand it over to our company. You understand? I was really enjoying it. And I don't think there's any topic that I have entertained here or that I have listened to in this place that have not really excited me, that have not really gained. I've gained a lot. And the few ones I attended, because as I'm talking to you now, I'm in my workplace. And
I can see your background.
It is because my boss is not here. That's why I'm risking it. Thank God for the link they sent to us for YouTube. That is what will now makes me to really listen to most of those videos. Because I joined later after 1 month, after people are started. For 3 weeks now, I've not been able to get access to listening to you people because of online. But today I say, no, I must listen. I was even in the office yesterday to see them in the office, and they were able to help me rectify some things here. That is why I'm able to join you now, hearing you. So by the time I listen more to the YouTube, if I have any question before the exam, I will let you know. Or let the
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for sharing. And I believe every other person on this call, you have this same. Justice, please kindly allow me to share my screen. Or would you like to share from your side? Mr. Emmanuel, please kindly mute your mic. Then Justice, please enable me to share my screen. So the program is loaded, and one of the things you also take from the program, apart from the theory and the practical aspect of the program, is the fact that you are now very good, you are more confident, you can now do things professionally. And the fact is, if you're always doing it the technical way, most times technical people don't earn as much money as the professionals, right? You agree with me on that. So that's why you're able to do it professionally, and then you can say, this is what I want to charge on this. Somebody shared with me how he was able to even onboard a particular company, set up their facility management department. You know, they paid him for consultancy. So all of the things you'll be learning from here, and also the practical, the project, there are things that will help you to level up your game in the facility management field. So you're welcome. All right, let me share my screen now.
Sir, I've approved you to do that.
Okay, yes. Can you see my screen, please?
No, sir, it's blank.
Can you see now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
All right, thank you. All right, so this class is a very practical class. And when we start, you say why I said it's a practical class. For me, knowledge is as useful as when you are able to, achieve your goals through whatever you have learned. And also, of course, one of your goals may be to make more money, and of course, to also be an authority in your field. So this topic is a very strategic one, and uh, you'll be able to gain a lot from it. So this is real estate and property management class. All right, my name is Samuel Tiamiu, and I also did the FMMC program some years back. I'm a property lawyer and also a property manager. I finished from Law University, top 5% of my class, and I also finished top 3% with the first class at the Nigerian Law School. I have 7 years experience managing tenants in residential buildings. Also, I've worked with the Montfort University, UK, country attorneys and solicitors in Lagos, and also Lonely Planet Guys Limited, which is a real estate company. I currently manage my own firm as the managing counsel. My firm is a property law firm. All right, so let's go into the topic. We'll be looking at 6 modules, and then we'll conclude. Module 1, we'll be looking at understanding estates and property management. So also module 2, we'll look at the core component of estate and property management. We'll also consider the common estate management issues. Then we'll look at budgeting for you as a facility manager. And then communication, which is very important, because in the field of facility management, communication is key. How you communicate, how you say it, your body language, all of these things are very important. And your leadership. Like I said, the technical people don't make as much money. So you have to cross to the side of the professional, and that is leadership in play, at play rather. Then module 6, we look at legal and compliance essentials. As you know, you cannot manage properties without considering the legal aspects, right? And you cannot talk about estate management without, in fact, the basis, the foundation of estate management, estate property management is actually law. So it's very important. All right, let's look at module 1. Module 1 talks about understanding estate and property management. What is estate management and what is property management? I know many of you did not study estate management as a course or facility management as a course at undergraduate level, but this course will help you to have a background of what it means. right? Instead of just practicing it, what does it mean, right? So that's what we'll start with. First, estate management. Now, in law, let me take you deep now. When you talk about estate in law, estate means all your properties. All your properties is called estate. So if you say Mr. Hay died, yeah, oh, Mr. Hay's estate, it means all his properties, whether shares at in bank, his car, the house at Lekki, the one at Ogun State, all of those things are called estates. Now, but in terms of this particular topic, we are restricting ourselves to only when you talk about residential buildings, commercial buildings, right? And then the management of this building is what will narrow it down to. But I don't just want you to have that myopic view of what estate means. That, oh, maybe so-so estate, so-so place, so-so estate at Lekki or at Ikoyi or no. It means the whole property of a particular person. So what is estate management? Estate management talks about the holistic oversight of residential and commercial estates, right? What does it mean to oversee something? It means to take care of that thing. It means to get the best of that particular thing, right? So if you as a person, let's say Madam Esther or Mr. Emmanuel, they are able to now do this thing, then we'll call you estate managers, right? So when you are in charge of a residential or commercial estate, we call you an estate manager. That means you are helping people to get the best from that particular facility, which may be a residential or commercial facility, right? Also, it may be called coordination. So you can call yourself a facility coordinator. You know, there are different ways, names, facility managers are called. Some are called facility managers, facility coordinators, whatever it is called. You are a coordinator of shared services. That means in an estate, there are different services, water, security, and all of those services, internet. These services, you are the one in charge of the coordination and making sure that these services serve the end users, the people that are paying the money for it. And of course, if it doesn't serve them, they will call for you. All right. Also, it deals with how you relate with residents and how you resolve dispute. Don't say, oh, I'm not a lawyer. Today I'm going to teach you some of the things you can begin to do, right, that can help you, because no matter what you do, disputes will occur, right? Sometimes a tenant can be having dispute with the landlord. I remember there was a particular day. I just told myself that, what was this stress for? Like, different disputes between my tenants, of course, the tenant and the landlord are managing the house and all of that. So these things happen, right? Also, we talk about budgeting and, of course, stakeholder communication. Now, what is the difference between an estate manager and what a property manager does? An estate manager is more of a wider nature, managing within it different properties. So if you call yourself an estate manager, there are a number of residential buildings, some of them running into hundreds or 200 units, right? But a property manager, most times, it takes care of a single property or a number of properties, which most times are not in one place.
Is it on my side? I can't hear anything.
I think it's from your side.
Sorry, everyone. I think the facilitators, their network is very bad. So let's just wait till it comes back up.
Can you hear me now, please? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. I can hear you personally.
All right, thank
Yes,
you.
sir, we can hear you. Can hear you.
Sorry. I think the network became. Let me try to see if this works. If not, I'll need to put off my camera. Let's see if we don't have the same issue. Let me stop video first. Let's see if it's better. All right. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
All right. So, can somebody tell me where I stopped?
Okay, you were trying to explain the difference between estate management and property management.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, for estate managers, their role is more holistic, managing several units within a confined estate. But that of a property manager is managing a single unit, maybe sometimes it may even be a single unit within the estate, right? Or a number of units within the estate or scattered across different estates. So a property manager deals more with tenants directly, repairs that has to do with most times roof repairs. I get that a lot. Oh, my roof is leaking, right? All of that issue. And then the legal headaches too. When it comes to issues of, oh, this tenant is not paying rent, I need to eject the tenant. So all of these things are part of what a property manager does. Now let's look at it and compare these two concepts: estate management, property management. In terms of focus, right? A property manager focuses on rental income and lease. Okay, how much are we generating from this property? Recently, I had to increase the rent of the tenants. Why? Because of course there has been devaluation of naira, and you can't. If you want to do some repairs, I did some repairs some weeks ago, and I knew how much I spent just trying to do that little repair. Right, cement is now over 10,000 naira in most locations, so you can't charge the same amount. If you're a tenant here, I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. Right now, for estate managers, it is coordination of shared services. Oh, 200 people are sharing water, security, and all of these things. Then communal assets, that is what an estate manager does. He's not dealing with one property, he deals with a lot of units. Then when it comes to scope, I've been saying this a lot. Scope is usually, for property manager, it is single unit of units. For estate managers, it is multi-tenant estate. So you have several units within that particular estate. Then also, for stakeholders, who are the people that an estate manager deals with? An estate manager deals with landlords and tenants. Most times, landlords and tenants. So what do? The landlord wants you to increase the rent. You have to communicate to the tenant. The tenant wants you to do some repairs. So my door is bad. Oh, communicate to the landlord, right? So all of these things are things that you do, and the stakeholders are landlords and tenants for a property manager. For an estate manager, you deal with residents. That is where the resident association will gang up against and say FM is not delivering services as expected, or they will feel that some of them will feel, oh, you are using their money to buy car and Jeep SUVs. So these are resident issues. They deal with vendors too and developers, right? Usually, if you're managing an estate where a developer is the one in charge of that estate, you have to deal with the developer. What are the activities that they do? For property managers, rent collection, tenant onboarding. I'm currently onboarding some tenants, and usually my form, you have to fill my form. I'll look at it. One of the things I look at is your social media pages, and I want to know the kind of person you are. right? Before I say, okay, I'll give you that particular unit. So for an estate manager, it is utility management, right? The things that the people are using within the estate, you have to manage it and make sure they are servicing the people, the residents, the end users. Then community engagement, because if you're an estate manager, you have a lot to do with let's with the community. Then the community outside the community is also there. All right, let's look at responsibilities of an estate manager. Usually is overseeing cleaning, security, waste management. I know you are well familiar with this. Most of the time, usually things that has to do with cleaning, security, water, waste management, right? Now, sometimes there are issues that has to do with the government, right? But we'll get there. Then also, the estate manager supervises service providers. So you have service providers supplying diesel, supplying uh, office materials, all of these things, you have to supervise them. Then also enforce contracts, right? There is a topic that deals more with this procurement, right? In this particular course, I know you must have done it or maybe do it in the future. So procurement is what you do as FM, right? Also, as an estate manager, you are in charge of administering service charge budget. So anything that has to do with budget, service charge, oh, this is our budget for the year. This particular amount goes to security, this one goes to cleaning, this one goes to these assets that we need to purchase, asset replacement, generator that is bad, we need to replace it. All of these things are part of what you put in your budget. Then you also handle tenants, resident complaints, and conflict resolution. Then you maintain physical assets. This is very important because if you don't maintain it, it will become bad. And if it becomes bad, you have lost your job, because if there is no assets, then there is no need for a facility manager. Who are the stakeholders in property and estate management? Now, when we talk about stakeholders, these are people that they have interest, right? If you talk about stakeholders in Nigerian politics, right, you talk about the politicians, the excuse me, the Nigerian citizens, and all of that. Now, when it comes to stakeholders in property and estate management, number one, you talk about the property owners. The property owners are very important stakeholders when it comes to property management. Then also you talk about the tenants and residents. Tenants are very important. What's their interest? They want to make sure that whatever they've paid you, they are getting value for it. Residents, they want to be sure that they bought the property for 100 million when they bought it, right? And then the facilities are still okay for them to put a tenant there and collect 5 million every year. So they have that interest at heart. And maybe the realtor has already told them that, this place in the next 2 years, you rent it for 10 million. So they're expecting that 10 million in their account. Now, the next thing is vendors, right? You have to manage vendors too. It's one of the stakeholders. They have interest too. Contractors, developers, community leaders, very important. If you think community leaders are not important, when you have issues, you understand this. In fact, I remember Mr. Paul said in one of the classes, I think it was move management, talking about the fact that sometimes you need to even go to the DPO of that area before you move and say, oh, is knocking me out. Yes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yes, we
now?
can hear you now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know why this network is knocking me out. Uh, okay. So let's look at governments and regulatory agencies. We've looked at stakeholders. We've seen developers, we've seen vendors, we've seen this number of people. Let's look at government. Government is a major stakeholder when it comes to facility management. And don't joke with governments because they can destroy whatever you've done or you're trying to do. Now, what are some agencies that you should watch out for? Number one is Urban and Regional Planning Department. So, especially if you are trying to do some works within the estate, please, these guys, make sure you consult them, right? In Lagos, we call them LAPCA. LAPCA is there, LASPA is there. LASPA is the physical planning, LAPCA is the building control agency. These guys are very important. Don't neglect them. Very important. Also, we have the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. I've mentioned that. Whatever name they are called in your states, please take note of these guys. Then environmental and protection agencies, we have different names that are called across different states, but these are the guys that if you don't have approval or you are uh, I think I'm trying to, sorry, just give me some minute. I'm trying to connect another device. Sorry, Uh, I'm trying to fix the network on another device. I'm sorry about the interruption. Please kindly bear with me. Justice, is it possible for you to maybe you should just share the slide from your side? Maybe it will be better. Can we try that?
Okay, sir. All right.
All right. Do you have the slide?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Thank you. I'll wait while you do that. Please kindly bear with me. I've been struggling with this network. This is unusual. I don't know why this is happening today. Justice, are you working on that?
Yes, sir. I'm working on that.
All right. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can present your full screen, then go to move the slides also. All right, can you move your slide? Yes, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Next, next. All right, yeah, go back, 2 slides back. Yeah, one more, yes, thank you. All right, so thank you. Sorry for the service interruptions. Okay, so I was talking about the environmental protection agencies. Please watch out for them. They're part of the people that may disrupt your activities within the estate. Also, the fire service department they inspect buildings for fire safety compliance. So these guys are people that you should watch out for, whether you are a property manager or an estate manager. Next slide. Yes, there are some other stakeholders like the discos. Discos are the distribution companies, whether it is EKDC or IBDC or whatever, even though they are now privatized, but then you should also watch out for them because and also know how to negotiate good rates for your residents. Then State Water Corporation, yes, in Nigeria today, we do have a number of water corporations running again, but in a normal situation, these are people you should also watch out for so that you don't need to start digging borehole. You can just connect and use. Then health and sanitation inspectors too. These are guys that you should also watch out for, especially when environmental is something that government takes seriously within that particular state. Some states will declare a day for environmental sanitation exercise. So please watch out for these guys. Very important. Next slide, please. Now, one of the things you need to look at is the retail complex management. So there are different aspects of management. Sometimes you may have to manage these retail guys. These retail guys are the guys that will rent shops or a number of shops. And sometimes, especially in places that are in markets like Alaba and the rest of them, you have to manage a lot of people. And some of them, once they pay service charge to you, they expect you to give them lights for some number of hours and all of those things. So it involves multiple businesses, retail businesses, some selling parts, some selling one thing or the other. So they have businesses, and sometimes they will require that you should give them 24/7 utility support. Anything that has to do with cleaning services, parking coordination. So your security guys out there, they have to make sure parking is properly done because their customers will come in to buy things, right? And as a facility manager, you must manage this tenant mix because in a retail complex, you have a number of tenant mix, like different businesses, like not just a particular sector, a lot of them, and they have different peculiarities also, right? Anything that has to be a signage control, you don't want them to deface the whole facility, right? And it's no more attractive. That's what you see in some markets where the whole building is already defaced. You can't even see what is going on within that place. Then foot traffic flow, crowd safety. Then there are maybe common issues of power overload. One particular business is using a lot of power and is affecting other people that are also on the same power. Customer complaints, waste volume, HVAC demand, vendor deliveries, and all of these things. Now, the tenant expectation is usually very high because they expect that their business should run. If their business doesn't run, they will tell you you made them lose 10 million in one day. And you don't want to be in that particular situation. Next slide, please. Next slide. Justice, are you there? Next slide.
No, you mean previous slide, sir. He has passed some.
Hello, sir. Can you still see the slide?
Mr. Justice, this is not where we are. We are two slide ahead of us.
Okay, okay, okay. I will go back now.
Yes, this no no.
You can move to the
Office,
next
yes.
slide. Yeah, office complex management. Thank you. So for office complex management, there are cases where what you manage is, let's say like the UBA house at Marina. You are managing such places. You have offices, NS and Young, UBA itself, their headquarters, and so many other offices that are within that place, law firms and the rest of them. So you must prioritize functionality, professionalism. These guys are guys that they don't take, they don't want to hear grammar, right? Because they expect that whatever they've paid for, you should respond as quick as possible. Then it also requires routine maintenance of their elevators. You know, there have been situations in time past where people will get stuck in an elevator, right? Routine maintenance of this elevator is very important so that you don't have issues like this. Lighting, security system, restrooms, all of these things. Restroom, very important because they're expecting people that want to do uh, business in multi-million, multi uh, billionaire. So you don't want a situation where they get to the restroom and it's messed up. So also key focus is also on corporate level service delivery in terms of it's not just at a small level, it's at a corporate level, and also you must ensure that it is quiet and clean. In fact, one of the major things that this kind of people look out for is whether it is quiet or it is clean. The common issues can be now access control, right? How do you control the kind of people that come into those offices? Because they don't want just anybody to come in, right? Without proper signing and proper details of those people, and of course, appointment in some cases. So faulty lifts or elevators, climate control failures, parking walls between staff and visitors. You know, some things like this happen where the visitor is saying, "Oh, I need to do business with this person." The staff is saying, "Oh, I work here." All of those things should be controlled. Then IT infrastructure and backup power system must also be in place, and preferably it should be bulletproof. Next slide. Now, what are the estate types and FF dynamics that you can see? There are certain estate types that you should look out for, and some of you are already doing this. We have gated residential estates, we have mixed use development. Mixed use is where you have both residential and commercial, right? We have that in mostly large estates where you have a mall, where you have a fitness center, and some other commercial activities within that particular residential estate. Then we also have commercial parks where people just go enjoy and live. Then we have commercial parks that have residential quarters. So some people come lodge, have their company retreat, you know, have time to enjoy, then have time to also listen to seminars and lectures. So these things are there. Then, of course, they can lodge at the end of the day, wake up the next day. So there are different dynamics, right? Then also, we have managing communal expectation and also shared spaces. So, next slide. Now, this is very important. Where there are no rules, there are no sin, right? It is a common saying. And as a facility manager, your bylaws must be very strong. Must be very, I want to repeat that. If you don't have good bylaws, people will do anything and they'll get away with it. Because even the laws in Nigeria says that you cannot arrest somebody for an offense that is not written down, right? So you must ensure that your rules are clear, transparent, and you must ensure that your rules are clear, transparent, and If they have distributed the pack, the network keeps kicking me up. Yeah, I know you can hear me now. If the network, sorry, if you have distributed the pack and they fail to look at these bylaws, there's a principle in law that says ignorantia legis non excusat. That means ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So you have done your job by making sure that the bylaws are available and then they have been distributed. Next slide.
We just hear you, but
Can you hear me now?
that last slide, we just heard the only last sentence.
Okay, you can go to the last slide. Let me just quickly run through it. Okay, so I was talking about enforcing estate rules. If you don't want to have issues with uh, tenants, residents, the most important thing is that you have to have these bylaws written down. Like I said, in the laws of Nigeria, if it is not written down, you cannot say somebody has contravened it, right? And when you write it too, make sure you save it. Make sure they have a copy. If they fail to read it, it is their own challenge. It is not your own. Because by the principle of law, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, right? And also, while you're trying to enforce these estate rules, make sure you use at least some warnings first, but preferably let it be in writing. When you want them, let it be in writing so that they will not say, oh, you never did that. And of course, in some cases, you have to escalate with fines. And of course, where somebody has been persistently defaulting, one of the defaults can be that somebody turns your estate parking space to a car lot. There was a particular estate where residents were complaining that one person will bring up to 10, 15 cars to park and then clog the whole place, disallowing other people to have access to a parking space. So in cases of that, you have to escalate, right? And write to the person. If the person defaults, you have to come up with fines also. But these things have to be well spelled out, well written, and of course, distributed to them. Next slide. So, what's the most difficult part of managing your current estate? This is a rhetorical question. Uh, A says non-payment of service charges. B says vendor unreliability. C says resident complaints. D says everything. I know most people are saying everything. Yes, there are a number of issues, but as you incorporate the things you've been learning from this course, you'll be able to help yourself to relieve yourself from unnecessary stress. Next slide. Let's look at the next module. The core components of estates and property management. What are the core components that you need to note? Next slide. And these are the core components. Number one, we'll look at leasing. Leasing administration, we look at service charge, we look at community management, vendor supervision, and stakeholder management. Next slide. Let's look at them one after. All right, let's look at leasing administration. How do you handle lease, rent? So, by law, lease is 3 years and above, but rent is below 3 years, right? So how do you handle lease? There are different types of lease. Some people do short term, some do long term. Long term lease can be from, some people do 10 years lease, 20 years lease, 30 years lease, right? Then also, as a facility manager, as a property manager, as an estate manager, whatever name you call yourself, you must manage move in and move out. You must have done move uh in this particular course, so I won't dwell so much on that. Then you must also ensure lease compliance, very important. And you start by ensuring lease compliance when you have a good lease agreement. You cannot ensure compliance of something that is not written down, so it's very important that you have a lease agreement. Then also, handling tenancy renewals, you must serve letters, remind them, oh, your rent is will be due by so time. All of these notices of to eject people, I'll talk about that later. Documentation, please make sure you have documents, because when issues arise, it is document that will help you. Next slide. Service charge management. Most of the things that make up service charge are, and you need to look at your own facility and look at what are the major things that will spend money on. Mostly, generally, they are on security, waste management, common area electricity, water, admin costs, right? Your own may be different based on the peculiarity of your facility, but these are some of the major things that you spend money on. And how do you come about how much to charge? Sometimes you may look at flat rate or per square meter. In some commercial spaces, they will say, oh, this is a 50 square meter space, this is a 70 square meter space, this is what you pay. Sometimes you may do a flat rate, but I know most times people say, oh, look at this person, his space is big and he's using this, he's using that, so he ought to pay more. So you need to consider some of these things as a facility manager and a property manager. Then communication is also important. You need to communicate your budget. If you don't communicate, they will not see transparency in what you're doing, right? So you need to communicate. And also, how do you follow up with arrears? Those who are still owing. These things are very important so that you don't run into a loss. Next slide. Then community management is also one of the key components of what you do. Ah, you have to engage with the resident association. These guys sometimes they want to fry you, but don't fear. Just make sure you do your job professionally, but you have to interface with them. Sometimes they will have a lot of issues against you and say, oh, we have this, we have that, but you have to be able to engage them. And that's part of the things I'll be discussing when I talk about leadership. Then also, you have to set community standard and rules within the place, within this community that you're managing. If it's within a mini estate, you set the rules. If it's just one house and you have different units, set the rules. Very important. And also, you must handle noise complaints, illegal structures, parking issues. Illegal structures may be that you are not supposed to build this particular design. That's illegal. If you decide to do that, I know a particular estate that stopped that development and they never allowed the person to continue the island. Pinnock Estate. So their rules are very strict. They tell you this is this, you can't build this particular thing, you can't have 3 floors, you can't have this, you must abide by these things. And these things help every community member to at least enjoy their stay. Then also you must promote community safety and cleanliness. This is very important. Next slide. Now, stakeholder management. We've looked at stakeholders before, and I did mention these major stakeholders. Now, you must be able to balance the interest of these guys, the landlord, the tenant, the vendors, the government agencies, because all of them have their the vendors, the government agencies. So how do you balance these interests so that they don't conflict is what you must do as a facility manager. Very important. And how do you balance it? You must know their interest. We can only talk about general interest in this class, but as a facility manager, you need to study what does this landlord want, what does this tenant want, right? Some tenant, they may shout and shout and shout, but when you look deeply, some of them, what they just want is sorry. What they just want is an apology from you. But if you keep, trying to say I'm right at all times and all that, it may escalate the issue, right? So you must also communicate clearly and regularly. Then also set up escalation protocols. Very important. When issues cannot be resolved by you, if you have somebody next to you, make sure you communicate to the next person. Next slide. Then vendor oversight is also one of the key components of what you would do. And one of the major things that you should note is an SLA. An SLA is a service level agreement. What does an SLA do? It specifies the level or the key performance indicators of every vendor. And this is very important so that people won't just do anything the way they like. It's very important. So if you are giving somebody a particular contract, you must have stated how it should be delivered, the timeline within which it must be delivered, right? All those specifications are very important so that they don't deliver the wrong thing to you and then it is useless to you and the end users. It's very important. Also, you must mentor the performance according to these SLAs based on the checklist on the SLAs. Very important. Based on the KPIs in the SLAs. So that's why SLA is the first thing before you go ahead. Then also you must enforce penalties for default. If you don't deliver within this time, this is the penalty, right? And also ensure timely payments and documentation. You should also fulfill your part of the agreement because SLAs cannot be one-sided. You do your part, the vendors also do their part, and you document. Very important. Documentation is key because you've done this, you've been able to spend how do you defend your budget, right? At the end of the day. Next slide. Then your FM duties, your maintenance duties. Most importantly, preventive maintenance. You've done that extensively in this course, right? Emergency response is also a topic, a course on its own, right? So emergency response and how when I did this course, Mr. Paul will say that there's nothing like God forbid, this thing might happen. Oh, God forbid. No, you must plan for it. You must be prepared for that emergency. And what is your business continuity plan? Even though, yes, you plan for the emergency, how do you want to continue business after the emergency has occurred? You must plan for those things, right? Take, for example, you have a generator that is running, and then suddenly the generator packs up. Or at some peak period, you know that this generator cannot serve everybody. You have to plan for those emergencies so that it doesn't occur and then you begin to run helter skelter. It's very important. Then also periodic inspection and reports of all these facilities, right? You have to inspect them. You have to give proper reports, whether to the next person, the next line manager, or the landlord, as the case may be. Next slide. Communication, communication, communication. Communication is very important. Let's look at communication tools. There's a slide before this one. Communication tools, very important. You must communicate. Sometimes through WhatsApp. See, sometimes some people are angry not because you've not done that thing, but because you did not communicate. Mr. Paul sometimes will say that you have to first of all communicate that it's downturn before you even go and fix that particular issue. So you need to communicate through WhatsApp, email updates. Sometimes you may need to use email for some kind of communication. The resident info portal, if you have that embedded in your facility, Then also periodic town hall meetings. Town hall meetings most times are usually rowdy. People want to, but then it's usually also good so that you get feedback from the residents or the tenants, and that will also help you to serve them better. Because what you have in mind may not be what they have in mind. Next slide. Service access control and smart technology. So there's a lot of technology that can help you in terms of security access so that you may need to cut down your budget. Yes, in the short run, it will be expensive, but in the long run, it will be less expensive, right? Because you may not need to use some access control, security control, and cut down your expenses on hiring a security guy. So you can use RFID card, you can use the mobile QR code for residents, to clock in, right? Visitor code system also works. There are certain estates. I know VGC is known for that. You have to get a code before you enter, and when you are coming out to also. So then log of every entry and exit so that you can keep track of whatever happened. Also, your CCTV is very important. 247 real-time monitoring is very important. Then cloud storage of footage, motion detection, and intrusion alerts. All of these things are very important. So yeah, your security is top notch. If things happen, they will call for CCTV footage, and if you cannot produce it, it may not be a good one. They may even say maybe you were part of the conspirator. So it's very important. Next slide. Now, smart lighting system is also very good for you. In some areas, you may use a smart lighting system that will help you save energy. So when people walk towards the light, it comes up. When they leave, it becomes dim and it saves energy consumption. So it's very important. Then also, softwares can also help you. When it comes to technology, softwares can be of help to help you track maintenance requests, complaints, payments, staff shifts, and all of this. So the central dashboard gives you a clue of all that you are managing, be it vendors, your staff, complaints, and all of these things. So softwares will help you. FM technology is one of the courses in this particular in FMMC, and that would have been seriously dealt with. Next slide. All right, I think we should have a 5 minutes break now. Then we'll complete the module. Justice, is that fine?
So I feel the students should say what's fine.
Okay, so let's hear from the students. Should we continue or we should observe your break?
Yeah, let's continue, sir. Let's continue, sir.
All right, all right. So let's look at the issues. This is the crux, or let me say, one of the climax of this course. When you see a facility manager, the name is almost synonymous to issues. You are resolving issues. That's why you are there, right? And when you resolve issues, it helps the users, the end users, to also enjoy the facility. So what are the issues that may come up? Next slide. Service charge arrears. If you don't have money, if you are broke, you can't run the facility. And if people are owing you, it makes it very hard for you to run the facility. Sometimes residents will also question your transparency. And that's why you must keep your records. Very important. At some point, as a facility manager, of course, you need an accountant. If you work with an FM company, there may be a department for accounting that keeps record of all of those things, right? But in some cases, facility manager does everything, and that's why part of the course here is FM financial management, right? Because as an FM, sometimes you may be put also in charge of finances. Then also conflict between cost increase. Oh, I'm increasing, and the perceived value. I told you recently I increased rent, And one of the questions I had is that why did you increase so much? So these things happen. People will question why the cost increase and the perceived value. Some of them may feel that it's not the same. So why are you increasing? Why are we having to pay more if we are not getting more service or more value for our money? Now, some of the things that can help you is that you should enforce the lease provision. So your lease agreement is very important. Enforce it. If those things are already there, that you can increase, right? Depending on economic situation, right? Since since the current government, we've been having a lot of hike in prices of things. I pity a lot of fast food managers who have drawn their budget for the year, and then Tinubu came in. That would have been very distressing. You have to come back again and make a supplementary budget because, of course, the diesel that you were buying for small amount before came way beyond what anyone envisioned. So these are the things. Communicate value of service. So if you are going to charge more, then you should tell them what you are getting more. So one of the stakeholders asked me to increase a particular amount. And what I asked this stakeholder was that this amount you are increasing, are you going to renovate this facility? And sometimes the response you get from some of these people is that if they cannot stay there, they should leave. you know, that's one of the response, but you have to manage it and see how you can harmonize the interest of the landlord and also the tenants at the same time. Then publish financial summaries quarterly. Your transparency is based on what you show them. If they cannot see it, they cannot believe it. That's just it. Next slide. Poor vendor performance is another issue. Some vendors won't show up. You will call them, and that's why you need plan B always. Unreliable security staff, janitors not showing up, slow technical response, all of these things are issues. And sometimes, as a facility manager, you're overwhelmed. These things happen. So sometimes you need to find a place to cool off and enjoy yourself. Yes, because issues will surely come up, right? And even when you say you are 100%, sometimes those issues might come up. That's the place of emergency preparedness. Then also, what are the things you can put in place to mitigate some of these poor vendor performance? You can do before. I must finish this class, no matter what. Sorry about that, please. Uh, so backup vendor list. Like I mentioned, written SLAs with clear penalties. So your SLA is a very important tool for you. It's a very important tool. Then you need backup vendor list. Sometimes, like for me, I have certain people that if I need it done very fast, I was communicating with one of them today, and while I was copying to take this class, he already sent me some where you need it more quality. So you should segment them that way, so that you don't just bring everybody together. And no, you should know that if I need it fast, this is the guy to call. Next slide. Next slide. There's another key issue: infrastructure failure, generator breakdown, water scarcity. I remember there was a particular issue in a particular estate that had, I think, over 200 units, but they had water issue and they had to be buying water every day. Like every day, trucks will come in to fill their tank so that residents can have water to use. Like they had that crisis. That is crisis. Like so these things happen, right? That's why backup plan must be in place. Blocked drainage, flooding, all of these things are things that may happen. What are the preventive actions? Conduct monthly facility checks. Check it and see, is this thing likely to happen? Then log all your complaints and interventions. Make sure you check complaints from people. Sometimes you may have a leaking roof as a property manager. If you don't do it very fast, the person keeps. I remember there was a case that I had to handle recently. There was a case of a leaking roof. At some point, the person lost about 2 point something million to the damage caused by the leaking roof. And then she was claiming damages from the landlord. So if you are the FM in that case and you have not lodged the complaint as you ought to, and send follow-up messages to who is supposed to attend to it, maybe you have to get approval from your line manager. You need to do that and also send follow-up message, because when things happen like this, they will come back to you. Then also you must invest in preventive maintenance. This is very important. Prevention is always better than cure. Next slide. Resident disputes is also one of the key issues that may happen. Noise complaints. Oh, this person. In fact, these days, the kind of complaints we get is, oh, these persons, they are using it for shortlet, and then some guys will come and book it for one day for party, and throughout that night, you can't sleep. I remember there was a particular estate at Ikate that the issue that happened was those guys who smoke, and this woman said she has asthma. So there will be disputes. What if she goes there and then attack one of them, or these things happen? Noise complaints, illegal construction, parking space battles. What do you do? Have your bylaws. Your bylaws will help a lot. Then use warning letters, invite conflicting parties for mediation. Mediation is a very good tool. And as a facility manager, you must know how to resolve dispute by mediation. What does it mean? You call the two parties and try to be the middleman to resolve the issue. And don't be partial. Next slide. Unauthorized use of common areas is also one of the issues. So somebody wants to use common area for party or for religious gathering, or hawking within the estate, or storage of personal item in on the corridor. All of these things happen. Sometimes it may be a very big issue because they will complain to you. Maybe you have not addressed it. This issue should be addressed, right? From so that they can have trust in what you do. Usage rules in your park, in your bylaws. Bylaws are very important. I keep mentioning them because this is like what guides the relationship between you and them. Then also enforce strictly with documented warnings. Then ensure security to monitor compliance. So make sure you monitor compliance, and when they don't comply, you do the next thing, which is to escalate. Next slide. Now, emergencies and crisis management is also one of the issues. Fire outbreak, gas explosion, all of these things. You must see how you prepare for these emergencies. What if they happen? Don't say God forbid. Prepare for that thing. That, oh, what if this happens? What is my response to it? So you must have an emergency preparedness plan, and also contact sheet of responders should be in conspicuous places that you can easily access. Not like you are looking for it on your phone and then your battery is low. No, no, no. If you need to contact a police officer, fire, medical, all of these things. Then periodic emergency drills also. That should have been dealt with on the topic that has to do with fire safety. Next slide. Legal and regulatory risk. Yes, don't find yourself under the wrath of the law. So there are government penalties for lack of permits. If somebody is building within your estate and he doesn't have permits, make sure you lock the person's site, because if government comes, if they look at the fact that the vast majority do not have permits, they can decide to deny access to the residents. So lawsuits from tenants, dispute over land titles, all of these issues are things you should look at. And what can you do to protect yourself? Please, I'm more particular about you now. Yes, you are working, you want to make money, you must also look at how to protect yourself. Keep your documents updated. Have a property lawyer on speed dial, even if it's not on retainer. Let's make sure it's on speed dial. And sometimes, let me give you this cheat code, right? I'm a property lawyer, so I can give you this cheat code. In the sense that there are certain people that, because you've established friendship over time, right? You can easily call them and say, please, I have this issue. Can you help me with it? They will respond, right? But that person that you don't reach out to is only when you have problem that you reach out to him. He will not answer you. Then also verify property titles before onboarding people. Next slide. Let's look at module 4, budgeting for facility managers in residential and multi-tenanted estates. Next slide. Budgeting is very important. We'll look at the importance of budgeting. Why should you budget? It helps you to plan for whatever you're going to do, and it gives you a kind of structure as to what to do next, what to do before, and you can safely justify whatever you are charging. So take, for example, this is your budget for the year. This goes to power, this goes to security, this goes to water. You can simply state it. Very important. But if you don't have a budget, uh, how do you now collect service charge? Then it also prevents overspending or service disruption. Then also it builds trust with residents and landlords. If you have collected people's money, they want you to be accountable for that money. So because people, when they see you buying a new car, they just feel that this guy has used our money. So it's very important that you guide against that. Make sure depending on whether you are running your individual practice, you're a freelancer, or you're working for a company, make sure the budget is well spelled out. Even when the company is not ready to do that, make sure you advise them as to the advantage of that. Next slide. What makes up a typical estate budget? Right now, uh, one of the things you will do in your project is that has to do with financial management. That's one of the projects you will do at the end of this course. And one of the typical estate budgets will be, there are certain expenses that are fixed, they must happen. Security, staff salary, you must pay them at the end of the month. Waste management contracts, you have to service it. Generator fueling, water supply, these are things that keep they're like oil to the engine of every facility, right? So you need to keep these things going, and you must have finances, money for it. Then there are some things that may happen, may not happen, like repairs and maintenance, right? Maintenance is not every time. You can schedule it. Let's say generator, so number of hours, or every 3 months, as the case may be, based on your generator. So all of these things are things that you put in your expenses. Then replacement of common use items like lights, locks, and all of that. In some estates, they call it asset replacement. Oh, we need to replace our generator. Oh, we need to replace our elevator. All of these things are part of what you consider. Then pest control. Sometimes you might have pest invasion, right? But it's not all the time. So it's a variable expenses. Next slide. Then another thing is administrative costs, bank charges, staff uniform, signage and notices, office supplies, your pen, your book, and your laptop, and some of these things, they are admin materials that you should also factor into whatever you're doing. But like I said, it is based on the FM model that is in place, right? Will tell you who takes care of this administrative cost. If it's an FM company, the FM company will foot this bill. But if it's a residential estate where the homeowners association or resident association employed you as the FM, of course, they will be the one to provide all of this. Then contingency fund, in case anything happen, do you have money stored up somewhere that you can use spending the time you raise more money, right? Even this is advisable for even family people. You have a family, right? You should have an emergency fund. If anything goes wrong, I can get this fund to uh, cater for this particular need. Next slide. Annual budget planning process. What is the process of planning for every annual budget? This course, we try to make it as practical as possible so that you can use whatever you have learned from this way. The first thing is that you have to look back. When you want to prepare your budget, you look back before you look forward. Because a budget is a forecast of what will happen in the next 6 months or 1 year, as the case may be. So before you look forward, you look back. You have to review the last year's budget. Also, after that, you look at what has worked and what did not work. Then you gather quotes from your vendors. Okay, I need to also supply. How much will you supply me? You gather your quotes. Yeah, you forecast increases. So in case there's an increase in price, how will I manage it? FX issue, foreign exchange issues, right? Naira was trading to dollar at around 500, 550 at the time. Now it's overboard. So these are the things you need to take note of. Then engage stakeholders, share draft budget with the association, let them look at it. Or if it's your company, share the budget with your company, let the strategic leaders look at it. Then finalize and then publish your budget. Next slide. How do you calculate service charge so that I can allocate what each person will pay? Formula One, you can look at equal split. So take for example, you are going to spend 100 billion in that facility for year 2026. You can say divided by 200 residents, divided by 500 residents, and that will give you how much each person will pay. Per square meter, you can say, okay, 100 billion divided by the total square meter of the facility will give you how much per square meter. And then if Mr. Okoro is using 200 square meter, like Madam Esther that is on this call, maybe she's using 300 square meter times 300. So we'll give you how much Madam Esther is supposed to pay. Then Formula 3 is the hybrid method. You can use both flat and variable charge. You can harmonize the two and see what best works in that scenario. Next slide. You need to track how you are spending money so that you don't spend money 6 months into 12 months, you have finished money, right? It's very important that you track it. So you compare your expenses and your projected expenses. Oh, I spent half of, if you are like 6 months gone and you've not spent half, that's good. But then there are some months that you need to spend more. Take for example, if you manage any facility that has to do with short length, you know that December, dirty December, as it is fondly called, that period is peak period, and you will surely spend more, right? So you need to plan for that. So don't begin to reject that. Oh, I've not spent so much. Are you planning for December? Then also create easy to read monthly or quarterly reports, right? These reports are very important and it must be easy to read so that people can understand what you are saying in your report. Then you need to also look at surpluses and shortfalls, the ones that are not okay, the ones that are surplus. Then share with stakeholders to maintain transparency. So when you do all of this tracking, let them know this is where we are and this is where we are going. Next slide. Now, what are the tools that can make your budgeting very easy? Use Excel. Excel, you can calculate, you can put them, those line items in different boxes. It will be easy to see at a glance. And then you can use colors to differentiate uh, different parameters. Then also softwares, wonderful. These ones will do it for you without necessarily going through a lot of things. You can generate invoices, reports, and all of that. It's just for you to populate it with the information to give you those information. Then receipts and document folder is very important. As people are paying, make sure you file them, right? And when you also spend money, file them. WhatsApp and email update is also important. Notify resident of budget usage and status. And where you need to review your budget, you can also communicate. Next slide. Now, communicating budget issues. When there are issues, there are certain issues that you are not springing surprises because everybody knows. When Tinubu came in, everybody knew that things went up. On the first day of inauguration, I said, subsidy gone, right? So, in that kind of situation, everybody knew what was happening. But in some cases, you may have an issue that is not readily available to common knowledge or public knowledge. So, don't spring surprises on them. Communicate early. Let them know that, oh, we're having issues with our budget and we need so amount to make it up. Then use visuals like the one under this slide, the pie charts. It can show you where your money is going to. Oh, look at this large area. So you mean we are spending so much on water? Oh, you mean we are spending so much on power generation? It helps. Visual helps a lot. Then schedule town hall meetings for reviews. Then keep emotional tone out of financial discussions. It's very important. If you are saying, don't worry, because you are this, don't worry, just pay this amount. You will run into trouble because when they need those services, they will not say they didn't pay. And let me be sincere with you. Some of those people that you give some rebates and some discount, those are the people that will frustrate you when issues happen. They will insist that you give them best quality. Next slide. What are the mistakes to avoid? Don't under budget. Don't overpromise with low charges. Also avoid a situation where you don't have contingency allowance. Contingency is that when I have finished spending all my money, do I have something, right? Not accounting for debtors or defaulters. They're not reviewing budget mid-year when needed. These are things that you should avoid. So you can put it as a checklist in your office and say, okay, these are things under budget. These are the things I will do. This is way to make this training practical, right? So that at a glance, you know that, okay, these are the mistakes you should avoid when it comes to budgeting. Next slide. Let's look at communication. After all said and done, you are managing people, not spanner, not generators, right? Not water treatment plants. It's very important that you know that you're managing people. There's a book that I like to recommend to people. It's called I was actually talking about communication, and I was about to mention that the fact that you are managing people, not generators or machines, right? I need to know how to communicate to people. People, people, your overall engagement or what you'll be doing in any facility. People are at the center of everything you're doing. So it's very important, right? So people, 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 please, I cannot overemphasize this. And I would like to recommend a particular book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. When I read that book, I saw that there's something wrong with me. You know, as Nigerians, we are so used to when people come with fire, you go with fire. You know, as a facility manager, as a property manager, you don't go with fire. You must know how to communicate. Next slide. Why does this matter? Communication, you manage build people, not buildings, right? Leadership is very important. And your estate runs smoother when you lead proactively. Next slide. You are, as a facility manager, you are a leader. You are leading people. And you are the face of the operation. You are the one that sets the tone as to how issues are handled. Your guys that are working with you, the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, you are the one that gives them motivation. How do you motivate them? If they are not motivated, they will not work the way they ought to, right? So you are a leader and you should lead them with that sense of enthusiasm. If your spirit is down, their own spirit too will be down. So it's very important. You must also lead with fairness, consistency, and respond to their plight. Next slide. Now, communication can be through this avenues. I've mentioned that before: WhatsApp, group chats, email bulletins, physical notice board can be helpful. The physical notice board will be helpful to people who are not tech savvy. Some people, they will not check their WhatsApp, but of course, if you have pasted it, it helps. Next slide. How do you handle difficult conversation? Sometimes it can be very fierce. Sometimes it can be late payment reminders. It can be conflict resolution between neighbors. This one will say, this person has been disturbing me, blah, blah, blah. You know, vendor underperformance can also be an issue. What I think you can use strategy: stay calm, stay factual, use facts, offer clear evidence, avoid public embarrassment, use your estate rules as your referee. Let the estate rules be in between you and the people. If the matter concerns you, if the matter concerns two neighbors, let the estate rules be the referee between them. Then make sure you are factual. Don't be emotive. Don't go about doing emotions. Yes, you should be empathetic, but make sure the facts are well laid out. Next slide. Engagement strategies. I've shared this also before. Town hall meetings, sharing financial reports with visuals, celebrate compliance. Yes, this is very important. People who are complying, celebrate them. Your guys that are working with you, celebrate them, right? So that you can encourage others too. Then punish of defaulters, right? Also, welcome packs for new residents must be shared so that they will know what they are in for. Next slide. Conflict resolution framework. What are the things you need to take note of? Acknowledge that there's an issue. Then, who are the parties? That's the next thing. If you don't acknowledge, in fact, do you know that number one, you can stay on number one for days if you don't study it well? Because what you think is the real issue is not the real issue. Take, for example, a property manager that manages a house with a landlord. There was a particular case that happened, a very real case, you know. The landlord said, no, this guy must park. The tenant who said, no, no, no. Everybody, they were shouting. When they came for mediation, it happened that at the end of the day, when the landlord was interviewed separately, the landlord said the guy is arrogant. That what he just needed is for him to say sorry. And truly, when the landlord came in, they counseled the guy to do the needful. He just frustrated, and that was all. So, if you don't know the issue, you may think the landlord wants this, wants that. The real issue may be that that person is arrogant. I must kick him out. So, acknowledge the issue and make sure you know the issue before you go ahead to involve the parties, right? Sometimes, after you have been able to hear from these parties, you may need to call more parties, right? Then you also refer to documented rules. What are the rules guiding us? Then mediate fairly and firmly too. Let them know that you are firm. When you are wrong, tell them you are wrong. Then document your outcome. Very important. So that next time when it comes up, you have that. So when you are doing your mediation, you may have somebody taking down the minute of meeting, right? So that if there's any issue, because as it stands, you're a mediator. Next slide. What is the right tone? Use we, not you versus them. As a facility manager, your communication should be we. Let them see you as part of them, right? And also stay solution focused, not blame focused. Then also be respectful even when you are correcting them. Make sure you use kind words. One of the words that I have imbibed in using every time is kindly. Please, kindly. Please, kindly. Sorry about that. It's very important. Next slide. Communicate like a leader. Your communication should be clear. When it comes to certain major discussion, document. And as a leader, you must be fair and you must also follow up. When there are issues, you don't say I've resolved it. No. Follow up. Oh, that issue. Is it still happening? There was a complaint in one of the facilities I'm managing, and then the guy said, oh, I have a leaking roof. After I sent somebody there, the person fixed it. The guy messaged me and said, oh, thank you very much for responding very fast. I said, okay, but make sure you update me if there's any further leakage. After some days, he called me back, rainy season. This is one of the issues we face as managers. And said, oh, it's even leaking more than the former one. I quickly had to contact the person again. So these are some of the things you follow up. And also people remember how you made them feel, even after the issue is solved. So if you made them feel less, they feel that that guy is not doing his job. And because of that one thing, no matter if even if you are doing 100 other things right, they will not like you again. So please communicate wisely, use wise words, and make them feel important. Next slide. So let's look at legal and compliance essentials. Next slide. What are the legal things you need to take notes? Next slide. These are the laws. Tenancy law, in Lagos State, if you are managing in Lagos State, make sure you go and read it. It's not long. Read it. At least have an idea of what it talks about. The Land Use Act talks about title, ownership of properties, environmental and sanitation laws, zoning and urban development regulations, fire and building safety codes. There are building codes. In this course, you do what we call building codes, right? These things are very important. At least have an idea of what it says. Next slide. Then the slide before. What are the essential documents you need? Tenancy agreement, estate rules, I've mentioned that over and over again. SLA, I've mentioned that. Resident induction forms, very important. Service charge breakdown. These documents are very important. Send it to them. Let them see it. Next slide. Now, if you want to evict a tenant, what are the things you should take note of? By tenancy law, especially the one in Lagos State, if it's an annual tenant, you need to serve 6-month notice. If it's a quarterly tenant, that means it's a 3-month tenant, you need to serve 3-month notice. Then if it's a monthly tenant, you need to serve at least 1 month notice. Now, you can have an agreement that even when the person is an annual tenant, you can have an agreement that says that you can serve 1 month notice, or an agreement that says that you don't even need to serve notice. It is a fixed tenancy such that once the tenancy expires, the person is expected to leave. So you don't need to be serving 6 months, 3 months, as the case may be. Then also serve notice in writing. Don't say it by mouth. Don't say, please, I want you out of my house, out of this house. No, it's not by words. Document everything, serve them. Then also use lawyers for final eviction actions. Next slide. Next slide. Property documentation. Confirm also land titles in cases where you are managing for a developer and they have several units. Confirm regulatory approvals with LASPA, LAPCA, Lasera, as the case may be. They ensure valid building permits. Very important. I've mentioned that before. They also be alert to encroachment or boundary disputes. As an FM, you may be called to this kind of issues. Make sure you have the survey plan and you know the boundaries. Next slide. Compliance monitoring. You have to do regular inspection for building violation within your facility, the estate. Also, you should be watchful of unauthorized extension. Some people, after they've built, they will extend the cantilever. Unauthorized extensions, you should watch out for that. The illegal use of spaces. Some people residential spaces, they will start using it for shops or for commercial uh, activities. You should watch out for that. Then issue compliance warnings before penalties. Then record violations and also the responses to these violations. This is very important. Before people will comply, you have to make sure they comply. If not, they will disorganize the whole facility. And like I said, if there is no facility, then you've lost your job. Next slide. Vendor and contract compliance also very important. Confirm your vendor registration. Make sure you are dealing with the right person. Also, do they have insurance? In some cases, then also enforce SLAs and avoid cash in hand agreements. Make sure everything is sent via bank transfer so that you can track it. Next slide. Also, in case of conflict, don't favor a resident over another or a vendor over another. Don't accept gifts. Mr. Paul will always say that don't accept gifts. Sometimes the gifts are actually they're actually bribes in disguise, right? They maintain impartiality in dispute resolution. Then integrity also builds your long-term credibility. Next slide. Next slide. Now, in conclusion, we've been able to see the different aspects of facility management, property management, estate management that you need to take note of. And we've seen some issues and how you can tackle them, resolve these issues. I'd like to take your questions now. Sorry about the back and forth network. I really, really apologize for this. This is unusual. I would have done something about it. I apologize. Thank you. Any questions, please? You can raise your hand if you have any question. Mr. Destiny, you have question?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Let's have it.
Okay, sir. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand. Okay, please. Now, I want to ask a question in respect to leave maintenance. So, like, what's the duration to maintain leave so that it will not have issue when probably a guest in a facility wants to use it? Is it going to be quarterly, weekly, monthly? That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Okay, for lease, it depends on the kind of lease arrangement you have with the person. Sometimes some people, like I said, they do 10 years, some do 1 month, some do 3 months quarterly, some do 6 months, some do, so it depends on the arrangement. But the law has stated, the law in Lagos particularly now, that if it's a 1 month tenant, you serve in 1 month notice before you can eject the person. And let me also say this, that the fact that you serve somebody notice does not mean that the person is not expected to pay for that period. No. Some people feel that, oh, you have to give me free 1 month or free 3 months or free 6 months. No, that's not what the law says. Also, you can serve the notice within the period that the person has paid for. Take, for example, an annual tenant that is supposed to get 6 months. You can serve him 6 months to the expiration of that 1 year. So let's say the tenancy started January. You can serve him by June so that it will expire by December, right? So these are certain things, dynamics you can put in place. Then you can also consult your lawyer. There are ways by which we prepare agreements such that you don't need to serve notice to quit. What you just need to serve is 7 days owner's intention to apply to court to deliver possession. So that makes it easier for you in that sense. I hope I answered your question, Mr. Destiny.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. Any other question? Any other question? All right, Miss. Is it Mr. or Mrs. Adiola?
Good evening, sir. Okay, my
Okay,
question is,
good evening.
my question is there any percentage for rent review for Lagos State? Like, is there any certain percentage that you was abide by when reviewing tenants rent, or you can just give any figure to review the rent? So I would like to know your question.
You are taking me deeper. All right. So for Lagos State, people have asked me this question severally. After they increase their rent, they'll send me the notice and say, they've increased my rent. What can you do? Now, there is no particular percentage that you can't increase more than 10% or 5%. However, I remember there was an interview that I granted, and this was one of the things we discussed also. The fact is, there's no protection for tenants in that regard. A landlord can decide to do 100% increments, right? The only thing is that you can sue the landlord, the tenant can sue the landlord, and the court will consider what the rent that people are paying for that kind of property in that same area, right? And then they can also look at the fact that, if have you done some renovation that gives you this right? So these are some of the considerations, but until you go to court, you can't do anything to a rent increment, and there's no percentage that a landlord cannot increase beyond. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any other question? Any other question? No question. All right. Thank you for joining the class. The assessment is there. Justice, can you move to the next slide? The assessment is there. Make sure you do it before your next class. Also, it's very important that you put to practice some of the things we have looked at. And I wish you all the best in your facility. I believe in you. Sorry about the back and forth network issues. Thank you very much for having me. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for the lecture. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you all
Thank
for
you.
joining today's class. Okay, please. Sorry. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to tell you, if you have any outstanding assessments that you have not done, you should please do that before the end of the month, like start 1st of July. So, and also upcoming assessments, just like this one and any other one. So thank you. And don't forget to fill the feedback survey and read for your exam as well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a wonderful.
Thank you.